Good morning. Welcome to everybody. We are starting this online conference on the oceans. My name is Francisco Seixas da Costa. I am the chairman of Lisbon Club, or Clube de Lisboa, as you call it in Portuguese. We are a non-profit organization created 5 years ago. And our main objective is to stimulate debate about global issues. We try to mobilize people, institutions, around the important questions related to international affairs in a very, I'd say, neutral political intervention. Every 2 years, the club promotes the Lisbon conferences, which has been gathering in Lisbon in presential terms. Last year it was in a different model, as it is natural, but we gather the dozens of people around the specific issues selected by Hall, with participation of dozens of countries, or participants from dozens of countries. Obviously, we try to sustain our efforts around questions like development, like questions of sustainability and the environment, but also about democracy and all the other aspects that are essential for the peace of the world. This year, through the pandemic, obliged us to use a different way to try to mobilize people. And in reality, we discovered, to be frank, a new world in terms of having people together and having people in platforms of discussion in different ways. And this also opened the way the Lisbon Club worked. We created a sort of debates, Lisbon Speed Talks, in a little more than half an hour, but also we maintain a model that we had in the past, Lisbon Talks, mobilizing a group of people with different backgrounds, but also all the time with great expertise in basic areas which are our concern. This time we have been working with the Japan Embassy, and we are organizing this conference, but also the European Maritime Safety Agency, EMSA. We'll have today the director,
Agência Europeia de Segurança Marítima, EMSA.
Maja Markovčić, and I want to send a message to the Japanese ambassador in Portugal, Usho Shingeru, because they are the two main partners of this conference, the ocean that belong to Hall. We also had, for this conference, the cooperation of the OCEANO Azul Foundation, which is a Portuguese NGO, and the Portuguese Hydrographic Institute, and also Sustainable Ocean Alliance, Portuguese hub of Sustainable Ocean Alliance. And obviously the two main supporters of the Clube de Lisboa, which are the Lisbon municipality and the Instituto Marquês de Valflor, a Portuguese NGO with a great expression in developing countries. This conference, just a few words about this conference. So you know better than I do the importance the ocean represents for mankind, and we are obviously, because we are here, you are in this conference and they participating in this conference, we are among those who don't need to be convinced about the importance of placing this discussion on the forefront of the international agenda. Portugal and Japan, two countries united in the promotion of this today's debate, are sharing the concerns that China is here today. And obviously the European Maritime Safety Agency is in the core of the discussions and on the basic elements of this conference. This is the kind of debate that we assume the Lisbon Club also assumes that needs to be more and more included in multilateral efforts under the lead of the United Nations, in order to shift the direction in the way the world is going in this area. According to experts, and many of you are, we are not experts, but many of you are experts, and we count on you to give us in this conference your ideas and your concerns. We have already lost time, according to the experts. We have lost time, we have lost resources, and unfortunately, we are still far from a world, in a world war, regulated and capable to reverse the tragic trend we are going through. We count on you to give us your vision and your advice about what needs to be done. The Lisbon Club is very grateful to all those that intervene in this conference and remains, and I would like to stress that, committed to support any other initiatives of this nature that may contribute for this common cause in the future. We wish you a very good work, and now, if you allow me, I would give the floor to the Director of the European Maritime Safety Agency, Mrs. Maja Markovčić. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Good morning to all, and welcome to this important international conference organized by Lisbon Club in collaboration with EMSA. I would like to thank His Excellency Ambassador Francisco Seixas de Costa, the Chairman of Lisbon Club and the Lisbon Club, for giving us this opportunity and for inviting me to address this conference today. If the conference had taken place in the normal times, I would have been delighted to welcome you in our beautiful headquarters. For those of you who don't know, EMSA is located on the banks of the river Tejo in Lisbon, the capital of the country, which is so deeply linked to the sea, with the jurisdiction over the maritime areas 18 times the size of its landmass. Speaking to you today, I'm reminded of the words of the Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, who recently said that we have a responsibility to correct our relationship with the oceans. In that regard, this conference, The Ocean That Belongs to All, has never been so timely. Over the next 2 days, participants with a wide range of backgrounds and experience will engage with the debate of the maritime issues in all-inclusive and forward-looking manner. From the threat posed by the plastic in our seas, to the changes in our climate, with the Arctic in our focus, from the problem of the piracy in our modern age and security concerns in general, to the ocean legacy we leave future generations. This conference will investigate some of the most pressing maritime issues we face today, addressing at the same time the desired course of actions for the future. Sustainability is undoubtedly in our focus, and quite rightly so. It should not be forgotten that sustainability, in addition to its environmental and climate component, also incorporates safety, security, and the social dimension. It is therefore important to highlight its full complexity. Oceans are in our focus today. The ocean covers approximately 71% of the Earth's surface. For every square kilometer of land, there are nearly 2.5 square kilometers of seawaters. The ocean's importance to our climate cannot be overstated. It is continually exchanging heat, moisture, and carbon with the atmosphere, driving our weather patterns and absorbing most of the solar energy that reaches Earth. With around 40% of the world's population living within 100 kilometers of the coast and 31 million jobs directly dependent on it, the ocean is fundamental to our lives. But human activity is putting our marine environment under huge pressure. It is no exaggeration to say that we may have reached the tipping point for our oceans and our future. What is certain is that urgent action is needed in so many areas, from land source pollution and urban development to the protection of marine habitats, from marine litter and air emission to the climate changes, from protecting marine biosphere and biodiversity to protecting small island communities. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot just say we are concerned about these issues anymore. The situation is too grave. It is the time for coordinated, committed, and concentrated action. We need a coordinated approach in which all efforts to protect our oceans are brought together. We need the commitment of everyone, government, policymakers, industry, citizens, not just to rectify the mistakes of the past, not even to do better, but to do things in a substantially different way. Not a step change, but a transformation. And we need concrete results. We cannot simply think that more initiative and actions will solve the issue. We must concentrate on the results. This is our challenge and our license for the future. And already progress is being made. Allow me to elaborate on that with the shipping as the example. Shipping is essential for the world trade. Shipping is essential for our daily life. Nearly everything we own, use, or produce has been directly or indirectly transported by the sea. As the COVID pandemic spread across the world and economies and societies went into lockdown, ships were still sailing, bringing us food, fuel, and vital medical supplies. Maritime sector demonstrates once again its resilient and essential nature. Shipping, like all human activities, takes an environmental toll, although it is one of the least environmentally damaging transport modes currently used. Nevertheless, in 2018, ships calling at EU and EA ports emitted around 140 million tons of CO2. In 2018, emissions produced by the entire waterborne transport sector, including international, domestic, and inland waters navigation, represented nearly a quarter of all nitrogen oxide and sulfur oxide emitted in the EU. CleanSeaNet, EMSA satellite-based pollution detection system, identified 630 separate oil pollution incidents in our seas in 2020 alone. So there is still work to be done. But policymakers, regulators in the EU and globally, as well as the maritime industry, are not standing still. We are seeing a rollout of the new and ambitious targets for vessel emissions, in particular here in Europe. New developments in alternative fuels, advance in autonomous shipping, and many are now talking about the commercially viable zero-emission ships on our seas by the end of the decade. All this has the potential to be the biggest changes for our sector since sails were replaced by steam. But to future-proof the maritime industry, we need to go further. We need new ship designs, new propulsion systems, new operational standards, and most importantly, an influx of young people with different skills in the industry. We also need to bear in mind that shipping is a part of interlinked system, a logistical and operational chain. Therefore, changes in shipping should go hand in hand with changes in the shipbuilding industry, port sector, among logistic operators, alternative fuel production and supply chain, infrastructure development, and of course, consumer perception. Finally, transformation needs to be mirrored by a change in behavior and in mindset among all of us. This technologically and ecologically driven new shipping has to be adequately supported by the robust legislative framework as well as by the adequate public and private financial instruments. And I cannot stress this enough, by training an educational structure capable of forming a new generation of maritime professionals with new skills, with new ideas, and new outlook. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in favor of putting traditional shipping into the dusty dark corner of the Maritime Museum. Far from it. The basic principles of navigation will never change. Our great seafaring heritage will always inform our future direction. But I'm deeply convinced that Europe, with its tradition, knowledge, technological capacity, and developed industrial base, should be at the forefront of the new age for maritime sector. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, what do we do in EMSA to support this process? Based on our mandate and our strategic outlook, we constantly increase our support for the safer, more secure, and environmentally friendly shipping landscape in Europe. We are at the cutting edge of the technological developments to provide the relevant actors with the most comprehensive maritime picture, combining data from the wide range of sensors, from drones to satellites, from shipborne systems to coastal stations. Every day, we collect 35 million ship signals, and last year alone, we delivered 15,000 satellite images, each capable of capturing over 400 square kilometers of sea. This enables us and our stakeholders to monitor our oceans. At PAS, with an ever-growing digital maritime world, we are phasing in the use of the artificial intelligence and cloud-based technologies to increase our capacity to transform data into the information and information into the knowledge for a better understanding on what is happening at sea. We propose and implement digitally oriented solutions to increase the efficiency of maritime transport by reducing administrative burden and make EU shipping more competitive and efficient. For example, we are remodeling our systems to operate in new environment that e-certification is bringing in. We are operational in what we assist EU member states to prevent and combat pollution with a package of solutions that include oil response vessels, including one not far from here based in Seixas, drones equipped with sniffers, specific equipment for combating pollution, modeling tools, and expertise. We direct studies on topics such as alternative fuels, autonomous shipping, electrical energy storage for shipping, underwater noise, and safety issues to support the uptake of the new technologies and the benefits that they bring. As an EU agency, we are constantly learning and augmenting our knowledge to assist in the development of policy and technology. Last but definitely not the least, we build capacity in EU and beyond through dedicated training programs incorporated in our EMSA Academy and through the development of the different digital tools. It goes without saying that by disseminating best European practices, we contribute to creation of the level playing field for high quality shipping and thus for the shipping of the future. Ladies and gentlemen, our oceans are our joint destiny. And if each and every one of us remains connected, united, and firm of purpose, I believe that we will bring about real, lasting change. It is my hope that this conference will help us contribute to that aim. Thank you all very much for taking part in this excellent event, and let me wish us all much fruitful discussion and debate over the next 2 days. Thank you.